He has ties to over 30 major news organizations and donates large amounts of money to progress the New World Order. Just so you can see for yourself what kind of man he is, here are some of his quotes. "It is sort of a disease when you consider yourself some kind of god, the creator of everything, but I feel comfortable about it now since I began to live it out. I admit that I have always harbored an exaggerated view of my self-importance. To put it bluntly, I fancied myself as some kind of god or an economic reformer like Keynes, each with his general theory, or even better, a scientist like Einstein. Reflexivity sounds like relativity. If truth be known, I carried some rather potent messianic fantasies with me from childhood, which I felt I had to control. Otherwise, I might end up in the loony bin. But when I made my way into the world, I wanted to indulge myself in my fantasies to the extent I could afford."
What sort of a financial deal should Obama be seeking to strike when he travels to China next month?
No, I think this would be the time, because you really need to bring China into the creation of a new world order.
Is there going to be sort of a tipping point, a moment at which the dollar is fatally weakened, or does it just sort of carry on?
An orderly decline of the dollar is actually desirable. A decline in the value of the dollar is necessary in order to compensate for the fact that the U.S. economy will remain rather weak, will be a drag on the global economy. China will emerge as the motor replacing the U.S. consumer. And of course it's a smaller motor because the Chinese economy is much smaller. So the world economy will have less of a motor. So it will move forward slower than it has in the last 25 years. But China will be the engine driving it forward, and the U.S. will be actually a drag that's being pulled along through a gradual decline in the value of the dollar. So there would be a slow decline in the value of the dollar.
And this man who was in support of Obama has also been in support of Hillary Clinton. He has donated millions to back her in this whole quest to try to get his people into power. And as you can see here, he has dropped another $15 million just to try to stop Trump and to mobilize Latinos. Now that's two avenues right there that he's working down. Another, and this goes on and on when it comes to Soros. Another is this MoveOn.org, which he supports and funds. This is tied to socialist people that are in this, and I'll show you that here in a second. This MoveOn.org took credit for the chaos that happened in Chicago. They show by their comments that everyone that came out, they thank them for coming out and doing what they did to try to stop Donald Trump. And it was all put into motion by this MoveOn.org that Soros backs. George Soros has a big interest in Clinton. When the man spent $25 million, and this is just what we know of. Who knows what else has gone down behind the scenes? What is very clear here is that he has given $25 million to Hillary Clinton. And this is a man that's worth almost $25 billion.
The richest man in the world. He's given away a staggering $32 billion. But is the billionaire philanthropist George Soros at the heart of a global conspiracy?
I fear we could be looking at the biggest level of international political collusion in history.
They're called globalists. Oh, come on.
Allegations are multiplying of secret Soros plots, orchestrating violence on the streets of America. and masterminding a hoax bomb plot to bring down the president.
The leak of all these papers and lists of people with offshore holdings has come about because of the Society of Investigative Journalists. But what's not been said this morning, and I think is relevant, is that the funding of these investigations came from one George Soros. Now, I say this at a time, I'm going to come back to so what, and it may have some personal interest for you as well.
George Soros, in my opinion, one of the most evil and wicked men on this planet. He is a big-time insider, an elitist, globalist. He's part of the 1% for sure. He is well-connected, and he has had his hands involved in many different revolutions, overthrows of governments, coup d'etats, you name it. Now, this guy has been across the headlines here.
I don't do on-the-spot interviews right now.
You love to talk. I've seen you.
Love to talk.
So it's
I
fun
love
now.
to talk, and I love Fox 5. How you guys doing?
One of the most vocal leaders of an Atlanta group protesting police brutality has himself been arrested multiple times for, of all things, impersonating a police officer.
Tyree Page is currently on probation after pleading guilty to a lesser crime of obstruction of a police officer.
Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis talked to Page today about the irony of these criminal charges.
That's right, Tanae and Russ. Tyree Page likes to refer to himself as Sir Major Page, leader of Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta. His extensive court files offer another surprising description, though: cop wannabe.
No justice! No peace!
In the days following the often chaotic marches through Atlanta protesting fatal police shootings, Tyree Page became one of the faces of the movement. He was part of the group that met with Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed to demand changes in police training and tactics. Page even spoke at a joint news conference.
We stand on the shoulders of those who have paved the way for us to be able to protest in the streets and to be able to have our voices heard.
What the mayor's office says it did not know at the time is this police protester had already been arrested multiple times for impersonating a police officer.
I just want to know a little bit more about these criminal charges that you've had against you for impersonating a police officer. How can you justify that when you've been protesting against police brutality?
Absolutely. So I have a PR director. You can reach out to her.
I'm talking to you right now. Come on.
I don't do on-the-spot interviews right now.
You love to talk. I've seen you.
Love to talk.
So it's fun now.
I love to talk, and I love Fox 5. How you guys doing? I do Fox 5. I like you guys. Right now is not appropriate time.
Let's talk right now about these criminal charges.
I'm not talking.
You've been charged multiple times with impersonating a police officer. How can you justify that?
Page's public social media sites boast pictures of him decked out with weapons and tactical gear. In December 2014, Atlanta police charged him with impersonating a police officer when they found him at the Shell station on Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard wearing a replica of the Atlanta police officer uniform, Glock 45 automatic pistol, and other gear. According to the police report, he had a black female handcuffed in front of the gas station. Page said he was working security there. In October 2015, police reports say Page was again armed, wearing a bulletproof vest outside a MARTA station. He even demanded to see ID from a man who turned out to be an APD sergeant. The police impersonation charges even stretch into this year. According to court records, Page, quote, blustered his way past security guards here at the Sloppy Floyd building by claiming he was an FBI agent. The court records say he was carrying a gun. In fact, a witness at the Sloppy Floyd building stated Page had more weapons than I ever seen an officer wear. He ultimately was allowed to clear all 3 counts by pleading guilty to lesser charges of obstruction and carrying a weapon in an unauthorized location. Page is currently on 2 years probation.
You protest police brutality. If you want to be a cop, why don't you just apply to one of these places?
Page and the Black Lives Matter of Atlanta movement parted ways several months ago. Recently, he started his own group, Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta. Tiffany Roberts is legal advisor to the first group. She says they had no idea Page had been arrested so many times on police impersonation charges.
I would say it's peculiar at the very least, and some aspects of it are alarming, as considering being able to get firearms past security checkpoints and so forth.
Are you glad he's not part of your group anymore?
I'm happy that anyone who doesn't adhere to our principles chooses to do something else.
Well, both the mayor's office and Atlanta police tell us Page's criminal record was, quote, not relevant in their decision to include him in a meeting with other protesters. They said it was a public meeting and anyone who wanted to join was welcome.
So, Randy, has Page explained at all why he had all of this gear?
In a couple places in the police report, Sine, he told police that the reason he had all this gear and the guns and all that was that he was a bounty hunter. He was a recovery agent. But you have to be registered with the local sheriff's department to be a recovery agent in Georgia. And we checked with Fulton and DeKalb, and he's not registered with them.
All right, first it was Mitch McConnell, then it was Ted Cruz. Now you can add Senator Bill Cassidy to the list of Republicans harassed by left-wing protesters.
And why wouldn't I support Kavanaugh?
Because rapists are bad.
Hey, wait a second. Are you okay as a person to go ahead and to accept a non-corroborated charge to destroy someone's life? The absence of evidence obviously means nothing to you.
Oh, man. Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115, here with reaction to the new revelation that a Democratic billionaire could be funding these attacks. It's getting messy.
It sure is. And good morning, guys. So that woman's run-in with Senator Bill Cassidy may not have gone in her favor, but some of these protesters have been really successful. Jeff Flake called for the FBI investigation after this encounter with two protesters in an elevator. And Senator Mitch McConnell faced a similar scenario with protesters at an airport. And now we know that in both cases, the women involved are part of an organization that has received funding from liberal billionaire
California considers a ban on fur. Opponents packed a state hearing this week saying the measure could hurt small businesses.
But as Susie Steinley reports, these people may have been motivated by dollar signs.
Cassie King rescued her bunny Mabel from a fur farm last year.
They'll use bunny fur to just line gloves or really such trivial things that animals should not be dying for.
She's a passionate activist who has been in Sacramento regularly to support AB 44, a bill that would make California the first state in the nation to ban the sale of fur. It's something San Francisco and LA have already done. Recently, Cassie noticed the opposition to this bill was growing at public meetings.
We were all scratching our heads looking around. Who are these people who suddenly showed up to oppose the bill when the opposition has been virtually non-existent?
So her activist group Direct Action Everywhere looked into it and claims most of the people supporting the sale of fur had been paid to be there. They found Facebook posts from two of them asking if anyone in LA was down to make an easy $100. Others offered another chance to make easy money fighting tyranny. This contract offers fake protesters $175 per performance and includes a non-disclosure agreement. Paid protesting is a growing industry. Companies like Crowds on Demand bring paid actors to rallies to inflate the amount of support for events like union disputes or political protests. For Cassie, as an actual activist, it's concerning and has her questioning certain crowds.
It's terrifying what money can buy. It can buy people's voices. It can buy people's concerns. We need these real grassroots supporters to show up, to get active, and to speak out.
Man, period, point blank, just like all my real ones trying to get some money. Explanation, that's it. Trying to get some dough, that's it.
Just out here for the money?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything to do with the protests, what happened in Minnesota?
I mean, a little bit to do with that too, you feel me? But not really. I'm out here for the dough.
Was it worth it?
Obviously, no, I'm right here hemmed up. Yeah, y'all see it? Man, if y'all gonna get some money, do it right. Don't do it the dumb way. Do it the smart way.
Go to like georgesoros.com and you just sign up right there. You put your name in, you put your email address, and there's an empty box there where you say how many times you're willing to protest and how much you want to get paid.
A lot of people are arguing about presidents. Who is going to be the president? Who should be the president? Who's the best man for the job? If they're not puppets by the time they reach inauguration, they will be assassinated. Soros has been identified as a frontman of the Anglo-French Rothschilds banking group. And of course, neither he nor the Rothschilds want this fact to be public, but there are many connections to be made between these two. In Soros, the unauthorized biography, pages 5 and 6. As September 15th wore on, George Soros' confidence that Britain would pull the pound out of the ERM was growing. It had been Stanley Druckenmiller who had thought the time ripe for making a bet against the sterling. He talked to Soros about doing something. Soros gave him the green light, but urged his head trader to bet an even larger sum than Druckenmiller had in mind. And so Druckenmiller, acting for Soros, sold $10 billion worth of sterling. The next morning at 7 o'clock, the phone rang at Soros' home. It was Stan Druckenmiller with news. While George Soros had slept, he racked a profit of $958 million. When Soros' gains from the other positions he took during the ERM crisis were tallied, he racked up close to $2 billion. It was this bet, this single act of placing $10 billion on the fact that Britain would have to devalue the pound, that made George Soros world famous. In Time magazine, September 1st, 1997, Soros said of this event, "I had no platform, so I deliberately did the sterling thing to create a platform." In 1997, during the Asian financial crisis, the then Malaysian Prime Minister, Mahathir bin Mohamad, accused him of bringing down the Malaysian currency. In Thailand, he was branded an economic war criminal who sucks the blood from the people. It's clear to see that George Soros is a major player. He's a 64-year-old Hungarian with an American passport that is devaluing currencies all across the world. His progressive ideology is being forced on the American people. This 64-year-old senior citizen that is not even from our country provided at least $33 million in a single year to radical leftist groups orchestrating protests and unrest in Ferguson, Missouri and nationwide, according to an explosive investigation into filings of globalist financiers' philanthropic tax-exempt open society foundations. Dozens of Soros-funded outfits helped lobby the media, bust in AstroTurf protesters and community organizers, coordinate propaganda message, create an echo chamber, and more, the Washington Times revealed. So can you believe this? He's not even a citizen of our country, and he's bussing in protesters, organizers, and we all know what happened in Ferguson. It was a violent mess, complete chaos. He's a race baiter, and he's trying to cause civil unrest in our country. And people don't see this. All they see is black this, white this, Jew this, Muslim this. These people are causing this to happen. They're propaganda all over the place, and people don't realize that they're falling for this propaganda. When you watch CNN, when you watch Fox, when you watch all these companies, George Soros has his hand in almost every single one of them. Okay, and not only him, all these elitists have their hands in these media organizations. It's nothing but propaganda. They're feeding the information that you see. If you can watch these propaganda organizations and keep in mind what they're trying to do, you might be alright. If not, it's best to turn it off. Quit watching it. It's their form of control. He dumps billions of dollars into these fake grassroots companies that he just makes up to fit his agenda. Grassroots companies normally operate in a way that the citizens have a problem and they try to solve it through a grassroots organization.
What he's doing is he's paying to operate a grassroots organization and paying the members to do the job that he wants to have done. It would be like if I wanted to lower the cost of ice cream. So I funded a grassroots organization and made it their goal to lower the cost of ice cream, while I sit back and have no involvement other than a donation. This is the same way that the Nazis accomplished many of their goals. George Soros is nothing more than a Nazi. He's a man that pushes propaganda, invests his money where he thinks he can make a difference and lead toward his globalization goal of the New World Order. A few other events that have happened that link George Soros to him are the Occupy Wall Street and the turmoil in Ukraine. He gives more than $1.8 million to radio stations like NPR. So those of you that are listening to NPR, you are listening to the agenda of a 64-year-old non-resident of the United States. You're listening to the propaganda of a New World Order elitist. So I suggest that you find a new radio station.
So the orders you hear about yelling no cameras, them is white boys. Yeah, that's Antifa, man.
Time did we say to y'all not to speak how you feel and say what you want to say? That's not what we said. We encourage that. But one, we gonna keep our social distance, and we're not gonna allow somebody in the crowd to throw some bullshit and then we feel the bulk of that. We're not allowing that no more. Okay? That's the reality of what we're dealing with right now. All right? Like I said to all my white brothers and sisters, we appreciate y'all being out here and supporting us. But this is not y'all space. This is not your space. Period. We don't need this bullshit right here. Because what our reality is, when this shit is all said and done, when we wake up, we still gonna be black in America. Now that's not nothing against none of y'all. That's not what this is. That's not what I'm saying. But we're not gonna allow y'all to go up there and start causing chaos and confusion. It's just not gonna happen.
It's your main man, Shaziel Sons, and I haven't really been hitting nobody in the head. I've been doing a whole lot of growth, a whole lot of growing in the last about year and a half, 2 years. And I want to make this video because, you know, I've been concentrating on just family and close friends and whatnot, and just kind of leaving the movement to the professionals. And it was just like, you know, I'm basically say it like this. Around the time, I say, probably the end of 2015, somewhere in there, probably going into 2016, I started to notice, I began to notice infiltrators coming into the movement, which is already, it's been like this for a long time, but I actually started to see them all online, making fake pages, and basically these fake people, part of the black movement or whatever you want to call it, were basically, you know, feeding off our emotions, trying to get us involved in things that we're not involved in, trying to get us to believe in things that we weren't familiar with, and basically pushing us to be more left and democratic. And one thing I want to say right now is, if you are a revolutionary or anything like that, you don't even believe, you're not even supposed to believe in politics. So for the people who still are believing that this movement, this black movement, even some of these white movements are legit, man, you have a lot of growing to do. I'm gonna say it again, you have a lot of growing to do. And I'm gonna concentrate right now anyway on the black leaders. Okay, the black leaders, a lot of the black leaders, and I want to hit with this video. A lot of the black leaders are straight leading us to our demise. Okay, they have us working, doing their dirty work. For us, their dirty work, I mean the far left's dirty work. They got us working basically for them, because how they're getting us is they're playing us emotionally. And they're basically saying how racist and how messed up guys on the far right and the neo-Nazis are, because they need all the help that they can get. So they're getting the gays, they're getting people of other cultures, the people of the far left. I'm talking about the far left. I'm getting somewhere with this. They're getting gays, they're getting black people, anybody who doesn't like Donald Trump. They're basically trying to get you to fight for a war that is being started on American turf very, very soon. And they want us to be a part of their side. What I'm trying to get the black population to understand and understand, and this is critical, is the movement has been compromised. Okay, everybody needs to know that the RBG movement has been compromised. BLM, if you are not caught up to BLM, it is not even a real black organization. It never was. I actually feel bad that I've been keeping a lot of this information cooped up for so long, but I just felt like, you know, it wasn't getting anywhere. But now things are about to go ahead and hit the fan. Anyways, if you have any kind of brain, you know BLM is endorsed by the Soros in the Clinton family. If you have any kind of a brain, you know that those same people don't give a damn about you, don't give a damn about black people, don't give a damn. They're exploiting the black plight to make money off of you. They're using your emotions, and based off what has happened to you, they're using that against you, so you can join these evil demonic people that help fight the people on the far right. They want, or not even the far right. I want to make this simple. The left is going against the right. It's a huge civil war that's being planned out. I want to make this simple. It's happening right now. And what they want is for everybody to choose a side consciously or subconsciously. Now, a lot of these white boys and a lot of these white people, they've already chosen their side. Okay? And what I'm saying to these people is, my people, is you're setting yourself up to get slaughtered. Okay? Become armed. Okay? Become aware. Know what's going on within the system. Because right now, there is hidden powers who are controlling the narrative. And they're brainwashing you to feel a certain way about the system, about white people, about every race, and about yourselves. Do not let these beasts, do not let these evil people do this. And I'm not talking about any particular race, man. You got black people, man. Like I said, the movement has been compromised. There is no black RBG movement. If you were claiming BLM, you a real sad motherfucker. For the simple fact that BLM has always, and from the very beginning, was being promoted and being paid for by Soros and Clinton. If you think that these people who've never given a damn about you, all of a sudden, they care about the black man's plight. All of us, man, y'all pay attention. Y'all really got to pay attention. I'm getting somewhere with this, I promise. All of a sudden, these white people on the left, and they've been doing this, but all of a sudden they, are supporting the black plight. This is all to get as many numbers as they can on their side to fight this civil war that they're planning out, that they're already being prepared for. You're going to have to choose a side. Don't set yourself up to get slaughtered. This is all a big setup. It's huge propaganda. The biggest propaganda that could be happening right now. And what I want people to understand and understand is that we got to put the race thing to the side right now. We have to put it to the side because we have to understand what's going on and what's important. And the reason why it's so important on black people, because I know black people are like, okay, the left versus the right, what does that have to do with us? Because the people on the left are trying to use us. The people on the left are using us. The Democratic Party are using black people to fight their war with Antifa, with it's getting very, very deep. If you don't know who Antifa is, look Antifa up. Basically a terrorist group. I don't know what people's belief system is. You can call them what you want to call them, but they're basically like a militant group, and they're anti-fascist. That's what Antifa stands for. It stands for anti-fascist. And with that being said, this group is being paid for by, you guessed it, the younger Rothschilds, the Clintons, and the Soros. And the media is downplaying this group. They're not telling people about this group. But people on the far left are trying to get black people and as many people who are part of the far left to join this side. And what they want to do is they want to take the guns away from the people on the far right. Their whole plan is to even a playing field, because the people on the far right, they deal with guns. They have all the guns. And right now, as it stands, the people on the left are set to get slaughtered. That's why they're pushing gun laws. They're pushing gun laws for the simple fact that if you're able to take some of these guns away, because Trump is implementing more gun laws. I don't care what people feel about Trump. I'm not reacting on feelings right now. I don't want people to come and be talking about how they feel about people. You think I'm a big Trump fan? No. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm just giving the information as I get it. This is happening, yo. This is happening right now. November 4th is the day that Antifa has pledged that this war is going to begin. November 4th, 2017. And I want everybody to know that it's already here with this whole Las Vegas thing. Okay. With them attacking that country in Las Vegas, that country music show or whatever in Las Vegas, it was pretty much all white people. That was a direct hit. That was a direct hit from the left party. I don't know if you can say Antifa did it, but it was a direct hit from the left going against the right. What I want black people, my people, to understand is don't get involved in something that has nothing to do with y'all. And take this information. Don't let the blacks and Hispanics to run with this information. Take this information, run with this information. This information is out there. If you don't take my word for it, do your own damn research, because it may be some things that I'm not wording right. It may be some things that I'm not saying right. I'm trying to get people to understand, my people in particular to understand, and everybody to understand that our little minor differences right now, because trust me, I'm pro-black. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm representing. It don't matter right now, though. It don't matter right now, though. It don't matter. You don't fuck with black people and you white. Hey, man, that's your prerogative. That's not what the conversation is right now. That's not what's going on right now. Is so much bigger than the race issue. And if people ask me, Chaziel, so which side are you go choose? Which side are you going with? If you got to choose the smart side, I'm damn sure not about to go over there with Hillary and the Soros. Come on, you got to use your brain. As much as you have to be strategic in your movements. As much as you feel however you feel about the right, they are straightforward. The people on the left are lying to you and trying to get you to do that dirty work and get slaughtered. We represent 12% of the population. Okay. You can be whatever you want to be. I ain't trying to dictate what you want to do, but just be strategic in how you move, man. You black people are still running around talking about hands up, don't shoot. Talking about take a knee, kneeling at the football game. You got celebrities being endorsed by these because they know the best way to get Negroes is through entertainment. We're entertained. But these white people on the far right, they ready, you know, and I ain't trying to juice nobody up. I'm trying to gas nobody up, man. I ain't got time for it. I'm just giving you the information as I'm presenting it. I ain't got time to try to gas them up and try to make it sound like it's this and it's that. Look, man, all I'm saying is, hey, they got their guns. They ready to go. They ready to go. While we're sitting up trying to be cute, drinking white tears and shit, this is serious, yo. This is 100% serious now. And they're going to use you, nigga, and emotionally, they're going to get you attached to their little movement, Antifa and all this bullshit, to get your head blown off. Strategically learn how to move. Running around with RBG shirts talking about fuck America. What part of strategy is that? But this has already been 15 minutes, man. It is so much more. That's not even the tip of the iceberg. The video already 15 minutes long. Do your own research. And then white people, you do it because I ain't trying to make this about race. They coming after you. White, black, Mexican, they are coming after us. I just want to put that out there, let y'all know for a minute, hey man, this is what's going on. Go on and arm yourselves. Your main man, Chaziel Sons. God bless.
BNN.